Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is L. Smith Speaks. I just want to pretty much add 2 cents to a video. It's by, looks like it's by Coffee Talk, The Truth About LinkedIn Monster, Indie, Job Search Exposed. Um, the guy on there, he was speaking some pretty good stuff, to be honest with you. Everything that he talked about was pretty much straightforward, and pretty much down to earth and the absolute 100% truth. And the reason why I say that is because when you apply to a lot of these job sites, a lot of them are phishing scams. A lot of them are companies who are trying to obtain your email address so they can sell it on the market. Like, you got a lot of these companies out there that specialize in uh, customer relations management, customer contact management, bullshit management. It's just pretty much what it is. And what they do is they distribute a list of all these email addresses, and they send out company promotional material to your email address. You'll notice how they say, oh, you can't proceed without signing up and providing the email address, because once they obtain your email address, then they're able to go ahead and distribute your information to other companies. That's why a lot of times you see a little white box that says you must agree to the terms and conditions, and usually within those terms and conditions it specifies that you are allowing us to use cookies, so they can pretty much with the cookies gain all the information that previous websites that you visited, certain interests and categories, things that interest you, that you visited, so they can go ahead and sell it to the companies that pretty much cross reference to your interests. And then once they do that, then you become what they call a targeted customer. And this is pretty much the algorithm game with advertisement. Google is one of the biggest advertising companies out there. And pretty much the job game is one of the biggest targets for this kind of interaction with customer engagement. So that's pretty much what's going on. I just wanted to add in my 2 cents, because Coffee Talk is speaking the absolute truth. There's pretty much nothing more to it. A lot of times you're not even going to get a job because these companies aren't looking for candidates. They're not looking for people to interview, because they're not even set up to go directly correlating to an actual job. Is to gain your information so they can sell you products and materials to make sure that their company succeed and meet their numbers and stuff like that. So a lot of it is just sales tactics, so you got to watch out for that. I would say more than maybe 75% of LinkedIn Monster, Indeed, Career Builder, and a lot of these big companies, these big job boards, they don't do a lot of scanning and auditing to make sure that these job ads aren't spam. A lot of times they just collect the money. They charge the advertiser for posting the job, and then they charge them for receiving the information from the potential candidate or prospect or whatever have you. So they really don't have time to do too much auditing. Now, they do have systems in place as far as a security measure, but it's really not that good of a filter, because you still got people that are getting their information hacked, and it's just a huge big mess. So yeah, a lot of times you're really not gonna get a job. The best way to get a job, to be honest with you, is either walk-ins. And a lot of companies will say, okay, go online, and then you'll say, okay, well, can I have a reference or someone I can speak to or someone I can follow up on after I fill out the information online. That's probably the most 100% way to get a job these days. Is all networking. I mean, I understand. I myself, I got 2 college degrees. And yes, I'm like, oh, well, I had to go through school for like 6+ years, just to tell me, hey, networking is the way to get a job. No, you know what I'm saying? But essentially, it is. Whether it's business, whether you're establishing a business, I have a small business myself. Even with that, I have to do client engagement, connect with the customer and things like that. So everything is networking, man. To get a job out here, don't rely on job boards. Go into the customer, call them, ask them what's the best way to apply to the position. They'll probably transfer you 4 or 5 times until you get the right person to speak to, and then from that point, you'll be able to go ahead and know how to get the job. And then, maybe, find somebody on LinkedIn and say, hey, can I use you as a reference? I'm interested in this job. Don't use LinkedIn for the job board. Use LinkedIn for the connections. So you can say, hey, I wanted to inquire about this particular position. I'm interested in it. How can I get the job? How can I go about applying to the job? Is it okay I use you for a reference? Now, if the person say no, okay, that's fine. Move on to the next person. The world doesn't stop there. So, I just wanted to add in, my 2 cents to that. Shout out to Coffee Talk about, explaining such a case like this, because a lot of people are going through this and they can't understand why. They say, yo, man, I applied to, 50 jobs in 1 week and I haven't got, a hit yet. What's going on? And that's what's going on. A lot of it is just spam, man. So like I said, best way, contact the potential employer. Look at the job description so you know what you're talking about, and then from there ask them what's the best way to apply. All right, this is L. Smith Speaks with Ease Up Media, and you guys, peace and blessings. All right.